Alright, I just hit the button. And the mic is picking up fine. And there I am. Okay, so I'm about to go... No, I'm already live. Okay, I thought this thing was going to pause, but it didn't pause and immediately went right into it. So I'm going to wait for some people to come in before I get on with it. For those of you guys who are already seeing this, usually this thing pauses before... whatever. Hey guys, what's up? I'm sure some of you guys have already guessed, but the video that I promised with the 2 sword reviews, it's up. The guys on Patreon, the people who support me on Patreon, they already have a chance to see it. It will be live for everybody else tomorrow. So, yeah, it's up. The sword reviews are done. There are some people who were like hoping to get like maybe a really quick, sneak peek on what I thought about the swords, and in particular the Gale Wind gen, which everybody seems to really want me to, touch on, which I can understand why. To give you the very, 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 very short prognosis of it, I like it. I like it a lot. Why I like it, and why I like all the features and all that type of stuff, well, wait until you see the video. But for now, I'll just simply say, yeah, I like it. If you're interested in it, if you think it's the sort of thing for you, it probably is. Obviously, I go into why in the video. Now, I have to warn you, the review is on the longish side, which shouldn't be surprising considering who made it. But I'm reviewing 2 swords, the Dragon Sparrow Dao and the Gale Wind. So that's part of the reason why it's so long. And the other reason is because I kind of go a little bit into, sort of into the history of each blade, like kind of go into its background, why they were made the way they were, and so on and so forth. So just letting you know that's the reason. And the video is not perfect. I was having some problems with the sound balancing, especially since I ended up using like 3 different freaking microphones with different footage. Yeah. And I really wish I had gotten this one set up beforehand, because this was the best out of all of them. And I think from now on, most if not all of my recordings are probably going to be using this one as my main mic, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, it'll be by tomorrow. Everybody should be able to see the reviews, and hopefully you guys like it. But that's not the reason why I'm doing this. The reason why I'm doing this is because the last time a box showed up at the front door, I had opened it up and I didn't do it live, and that might have disappointed some people. Because usually when I get a box, I instantly set up the camera like, hey, let's see what's inside. This time I didn't, because I had to rush to work that day. Not tonight. Box showed up and I got the night off, so why not set up the camera? So we're gonna do an unboxing. We're gonna see what's in there. I'm pretty sure I know what's in this one, but let's find out what's in this sucker. This showed up way early today. Really, really early. So it was a test of my patience not to crack this sucker open, but I had things to do. I had a lot of errands to run, and I still got some more to run tomorrow. And then, you gotta deal with cooking and taking care of the kid and all that type of stuff. But now that the child is in bed and things are taken care of, we can finally get into it. So, already slicing in. I'm not even wasting any time. Let's just crack the sucker open and see what's inside of it. Yep. By the way, you're probably going to be hearing background noise. You're probably going to hear other people talking. This is normal. You live in a house with other people, that's what's going to happen. So, now if this was like, me doing a straight up, video where, get to edit and all that, yeah, then you wouldn't have to worry about that. But right now, this is just impromptu. So, yeah, you're going to be seeing living people doing living things. Yeah, once again, a lot of styrofoam. And I really don't want to have to fight with this, so I'm just going to, slice through the sides here.
You could open up the other side and flip it outside.
I could do that, yeah. Actually, yeah, I think I will do that. Air pressure and all that. So, it's already starting to slide, but I want to make it freer. This is a really good knife, by the way. This was gifted to me by a friend of mine a long time ago. He was a GM for a game that we were running for a while. I really would like to get back into that game. But he had actually sent me this knife along with some other things, and it's been very useful over the years. Ooh, I am sorry, man. Didn't mean it either way. Alright, starting to slide out, and oh, already this thing just wanted to crack right out of the styrofoam, so there we go. Though I see I might be pulling this out backwards. Whoops. Styrofoam to clean up later. Very narrow. So I'm pretty sure I know what this is now. Also very tall. Very, very tall. Move this chair out the way. Yeah, make fun of the short dude. Okay. Huh?
You haven't seen the movie The Gentleman yet, have you?
No, I have not. By the way, you're live on camera. Okay. I do not want to cut this bag up. This was very tightly wrapped. It seems every time... And by the way, I'm pretty sure you guys can guess who sent this to me. It's always LK Chen. I mean, who else? Mm-hmm. And it's like every time they send me something, it becomes even more secure than it was last time. I do not blame them. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what this is. Just from feeling the handle and then... Yeah, I know exactly what this is. And it may not look like it, but I'm actually kind of containing my excitement because the minute I saw this, I was just like... So, yeah. Let's see let's actually get it out in all of its glory. And I'm hearing more plastic, so the knife's gonna have to come out again probably. Oh yeah, it's a lot narrower than I thought it would be though. Makes me wonder how thin the blade is. It's gorgeous though. Wow, this is very narrow. You know what? I might want to grab... I'm going to have to grab another LK Chen blade in a bit to compare it because this is very narrow. Huh. Huh, and huh. Okay, so... I don't need to do that big a cut. I just need to get just enough of this flicking out so I can rip the rest. Come on, you. There we go. Alright. The wrapping's nice and flat already, I can tell. Put the knife back in. Yeah, I know, not very exciting. Me just peeling plastic off, right? And there's still some up here. Man, they really did not want anything to happen to this blade. Jeez. This sword. Actually, the tune I was humming was a variation on a tune from a game that I'm pretty sure most of you guys have never even heard of, even though you should. Actually, the actual melody is... And 5 points to Gryffindor, I guess, if you guys can guess where that tune came from. Oh, man. Very, very shiny. This is probably... Okay, I know LK Chen, they lacquer all of their scabbards, but this is the shiniest of the lot. I'm pretty sure you guys can tell. Look at the gloss on that. They were really proud of this one. Like, they went all out with the making of this. I need to stand up. Like, this... Jeez, the detail on this. Look at that. I don't know how well you can see it, and I'm hoping it's not too foggy. But, whoa. The detail on this is insane. And then, of course, all the... Wow. They stepped up their game a bit with the detail on the fittings, the scabbard. But again, I'm really taken aback by just how thin It is. It's really making me wonder what it's going to be like when I pull the blade out. Is it going to be like a needle? Now, hold on for just a bit. I want to do a comparison here before I pull the blade out. Ugh. Get over here and get this sucker out. And I'm sorry for whacking against the... Okay, so this one here, this is the White Ark. And yes, I know the fitting here is missing. It fell off a long time ago, and I just never bothered to put it back on because I kind of like it like this, but whatever. This one was always one of the most narrow of the bunch. And let's do a comparison before we pull out blade. They're about the same, really. Yeah, except that this one is a longer one, so you can get more of a two-handed purchase on this. Wow. You see how much narrower this is? This is like a needle compared to this. But then again, once we pull the blades out, we'll definitely know. I'm going to put that there. Wow. Huh. It's like, holding this now, it's what I expected, but then again, at the same time, not what I expected. And that's what's blowing my mind about it. So, oh, there it is. And it's, okay, the blade is, it's narrow, but not too narrow. Okay, so the scabbard kind of fooled me a little bit. Oh, except, okay, that's a rapid taper. Whoa, this is a rapid taper. Okay, this I can see somebody saying is rapier-like. And I wouldn't necessarily blame them for that. Jeez. That's a very elegant-looking sword, though. I need to step back so I can really get this into view. Wow. No, and it fell. Sword abuse. Sorry. I'll pick it up in a second. Jeez, I don't know if you can see the length of that. This is very, very, very narrow. And by the way, it's still, I mean, I'm pretty sure you can tell just how thin this is. Yeah, it's light. Yeah, it's maneuverable. But, wow. And the weird thing is there's still a bit of solidity to this that I know if I do try to go through a target, it's probably going to cut through it. But this is not necessarily something that I'm going to feel comfortable whacking against tree branches with, just because of how narrow this is. But then again, at the same time, this is one of those thicker blades. The blade here reminds me a lot of the ones that they have for the Roaring Dragon and the Striking Eagle. You know, that particular profile with they call it the 8-sided blades. So it still has a bit of a thickness to it. It still has a bit of a denseness to it. It's just like it's so narrow. I could easily see there's going to be a lot more poking with this than straight up like hardcore cutting. If you are going to be cutting, it's going to be like mincing cuts with this. But, you know, if you're going to be fighting with it. And two-handed, same thing. Very quick motions. It's beautiful, though. This is absolutely beautiful. It's just really shocking me just how needle thin. Okay, again, I got to compare it to the White Ark. Because the White Ark was the longest one-handed one they had. And this one's pretty close, if not the same. Except the blades are definitely different. So let's put this one aside. This I'm putting over here so it doesn't fall down. Huh. This is longer. Huh. Well, you know what? Considering the type of blade that they were putting on this, it makes sense that this one would be a bit longer. Because trying to stretch it out to this length with the rapid taper, that would definitely be putting a weak point on it. It would be easier to snap, I think. This one has more of a flatter profile, too. Like, you can't really see. So I'm going to have to lift it up. I'm going to step back here as far as I possibly can. I know this setup isn't ideal, guys. I know. I'm really hoping they come up with a better recording space later. But, yeah, do you see the difference? Like, this one's definitely longer, and this one's definitely wider. But this one also has, it looks like it has a flatter profile. This one has a flatter profile than this one, the White Ark compared to the Soaring Sky. Yeah, and this one, of course, is a straight up, you know, 4-sided. This is a diamond profile, while this one is more of that kind of 8-sided, thicker profile. This one's more of a thruster. This is definitely more of a thruster than this one. Though, obviously, because this one is narrow compared to other swords, obviously going to be doing a lot of thrusting with this. And again, Matt Easton had considered this to be rapier-like to him, which is still kind of surprising me. Me, personally, I'm looking at this going, rapier? I don't know. Maybe earlier rapier, but this one, if he said rapier-like, I'd be like, yeah, bro. You guys know my pet peeve of, calling Zen rapiers, but these two are beginning to make me reconsider, especially this one. Wow. And this one, for as long as this one is so maneuverable. This was the sword, by the way. I remember this white arc here. The guy, my contact for LK Chen, this, by the way, is his favorite sword of the bunch. Of the original 5, this is his favorite. The Flying Phoenix is mine. But I remember when I presented this one, when I went up to North with Skull and we were testing them out, and I was like, I was telling him, you're gonna love this one. He's like, really? I said, trust me. As soon as he took it in his hand, he's like, whoa, this is so. And then he cut through the target. You guys all saw it. He's like, oh. Yeah, this one, when it cut through targets, it's like the targets are not even there. And it's making me wonder if this is going to be similar. But I'm not gonna say I have my doubts about how well this one's going to be able to cut. But especially since this is a stout blade. Stout by me, like how thick it is. Like I could tell that it's got some resilience to it. Because of its thickness, because the spine area of the blade, the center part of the blade is a bit thicker. Not by a huge amount, but enough for me to at least feel safe, at least doing some quick cutting like that. If I was using this in a fight, I wouldn't be trying to cleave through a target. I'd be doing that against the target, doing hits, strikes that would cut. So and besides, that's used a lot in Jian-Fa anyway, in Chinese sword fighting anyway. Even with Ming style, Qing style Jian, you don't want to. You're not trying to hack through. That's Dao fighting. This one is more like a quick hit. If you are going to be going for a really big hit, it's usually as a counter. You're stepping out the way, you parry, and then you really come into a weak fleshy part, and bam, it comes in. But even then, you're supposed to quickly come back and then, continue with striking more with the top third of the blade. So this one is definitely more of a stay away. You're sniping from a distance with this. And just the shape of the blade and the balance, the feel of it, it's really making me think there's a lot more of a snap, 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 quick strikes to fleshy areas that you're aiming for here, you're aiming for here, aiming for here, you're aiming for here. Just quick gliding strikes like that. It's gorgeous, though. I want to know where the balance point is on this. It's probably further out than the... No, it's not that bad. This is typical. This is typical. You guys see that? I would say this is probably, 6 inches? 6 inches from the handguard? Something like that. Which for a blade this long, that's fine. That's pretty fine, right? Wow. A lot of oil on this. I'm going to do something I normally do not do in these live streams, and I'm going to kind of wipe the blade down just so I can get a better look at the pattern. So, excuse me for a moment while I get my sword box, or my sword cleaning kit box, which I keep underneath the desk. And, let's see, no, not that rag. Got different rags for different things. What happened? I had one oiled rag, did I? I must have misplaced it. Well, I might have thrown it out, actually. So, we're going to use you, because we're just wiping stuff off. I'll put on the oil with another rag. This is fine. By the way, I've mentioned this before, many years ago, but as far as getting a cleaning kit or maintenance kit for your sword, you don't need to go and spend a whole lot of money for that. You don't need to get those fancy Japanese kits that charge way more for what you're actually getting. Especially some other unscrupulous places that aren't even giving you top quality stuff. My kit is just put together myself. It's just rags, some napkins, and a bottle of mineral oil with a little bit of clove oil spun in to make it smell nice. And the box itself is a cigar box that I got for free. You don't need to spend that much money. Hell, I know some dudes who clean their swords out with just 3-in-1 oil. That's it. Just 3-in-1 oil and some rags, and they're good to go. So let's wipe this down. Ah, that is nice. It is very nice. I really like how the light is shining off on the edges here. That is some fine polished work for that tip there. Just gives it a character all its own. Oh yeah, that is nice. I really wish the lighting was better in here so you can see what I'm seeing. Again, I really need to. I'm working on it in here, finding a good suitable place, not just to record videos, but to do live streams. It's not very ideal. The house is sort of in flux at the moment, so it happens. This is called living spaces. This is what happens with living spaces. Look at that sheen, though. And again, the pattern is gorgeous. Oh, wow. The pattern is so nice on this. I'm going to try to angle back. Maybe you guys can see it. But again, I can't really... It's hard with the lighting in here. Do I have my flashlight? Maybe if I had my flashlight, I could give you guys an idea. It's around somewhere. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to try. I mean, I know it's going to mostly just be a bright reflection. But maybe you guys might have a chance of seeing the pattern, or at least some of the pattern, if I get it close enough. And I'm going to try... Oh, no, it's too bright. It's too much of a reflection. You're not going to be able to tell. I'm trying my best, but there's only so much I can do, really, to really show that off. Okay, there. Did you see some of that? Like, that looks good to me. Like, you can sort of see a bit of the pattern there, can you? At least I can. Like, that is... It's really, really nice. But, let's do a very quick test of... I don't got a Tommy or anything, but I got paper. I always have paper. Something to chop up here. How about this? Where are you? Well, where are you? Like, come out of there. That's what I meant to say. Don't fall. So now the white arc is wanting to fall. But my life is over. No, it's not. What's wrong with it? Let's see how sharp this thing is. If it's... Okay, so far it's not doing the very... Nope, there we go. So far it's... It's not so easy doing it with light paper. Maybe I should do it with... Yep, there we go. Let me see if I got something better than... I don't want to slice this one up, though. I need these. Do I need this? I don't think I do. Yeah, that's not mine to cut up. Garbage. What are you? Oh, I need that. All these papers that sooner or later I gotta get rid of at some point or another. Or at least go through. The trials and tribulations of finding something to cut. Ew. Did not need to do that. But the edge is fine.
Stuff from the recycling.
Yeah, maybe he's going... Oh, no, wait, I need that. Hold on for a second, I'm gonna get some paper over there. Over where?
We have a bunch of stationery that's not going to be used. Yeah.
I don't even know where... Oh, here.
We have a bunch of them.
No, they were 0 and 10.
Not really that great situation.
That worked. I just needed a piece of paper. That's all I needed.
Take almost that. We can have something over there.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, guys, for getting off camera. All right. I got something. And now let's really test this edge, which, again, I'm really feeling this is more of a thruster than a cutter, but doesn't mean we're not going to test the edge. Anyway, yeah. Well, that was a bit rough. So maybe it's not as sharp as I think it is. Or maybe it's just me not being good enough. Because sometimes I have a problem. No, sliced in. It did in pretty well. I do feel confident that this is going to go through targets. It's just not much of a cutter. I'm not really getting a sense that this was meant for straight up cutting. It's made more for... That sliced through nicely. This thing is made more for, you know, like snapping through. I mean, you see how narrow this is, right? This is like almost like a needle. Freaking needle on a handle. So, yeah, this is probably the most rapier-like of the Dien that I own. And I thought my Adam Su Dien was more needle-like. This... Yeah, this one beats that in terms of being more rapier-like. I can tell you that much. I forgot about the pommel. Gorgeous. This is like an aristocrat sword or something. I mean, look at that. The freaking pattern on the pommel and everything else. They've really upped their game in terms of presentation. This is definitely not a plain sword. And the scabbard also I really like because their scabbards were always fairly narrow, but this is practically just hugging the blade. It's almost like more of a coating that you peel off. Though having said that, you know, it's still thick enough. Like it's not like I'm, you know, it's not like it's a piece of paper or anything like that. Oh, and that's snug. That is super snug. Super. Look at that. Also interesting is that instead of like different cords, like usually they have a cord and they wind it around. Now it's just one wide ribbon that's keeping this, that's helping to keep this in place. Pretty tight. It's not wiggling. This is not sliding. Nothing was moving when I was handling the sword. The grip I also really like. This is definitely like a flat ovoid shape. Like your hands are not slipping on this at all, and you got pretty good edge alignment right away. Like right away when you're gripping this, you know where the edge is. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I'm not too sure if it's going to beat my love of the... But then again, I haven't really worked with this yet. I will say that this is really pretty, though. Really pretty. Like, I remember when I saw it on the website, I was wondering if this was going to replace my love for the Flying Phoenix. Now, actually handling it, I'm not so sure, but I am still kind of like, oh, like in awe of it. I think what's going to really settle my mind on it is when I start practicing with it, like do some forms with it, as well as drills, as well as, of course, cutting stuff up. And that's what's going to make me know. Like, because the thing about the Flying Phoenix is when I first handled it, it handles so much more beautifully than many of the swords that I handled before, which is why I instantly fell in love with it. Nowadays, I'm kind of used to these swords, so I'm not too surprised at how light and how well balanced they are. But the other thing I liked about the Flying Phoenix is that it's just a good, solid, good working sword. It does what you want it to do. If this does the same thing, despite how narrow it is, yeah, then it might end up taking the top spot for me, just simply because of how elegant the whole package is. You know? It's especially how beautiful the blade looks. There is something, I mean, I like elegant designs. I've always been partial to elegant designs, and this is definitely elegant. It's just so weird seeing a Dien blade with a tip so freaking narrow. I mean, that is one rapid taper. Jeez. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. And then, of course, the length of it as well. Like this. Somewhat what I was not expecting. But yeah, that's what was in the box, and I'm going to have a lot of fun testing it, and hopefully it won't take me as long to get a review out for this than it did for the other one. Jeez. Well, the other two. I ended up reviewing 2 of them. I do like it. First impressions, I like it a lot. So, wow, I can't wait to see what that one does. Cannot wait to see what that one does. Let's see. I guess I might as well start going through some questions. Okay, I'm going to slide back up here. Hellos. Hi, guys. How you doing? That other camera over there is starting to get on my nerves with the way it keeps flashing at me. There's the Soaring Sky. Yep, obviously the Soaring Sky. Scott McGregor asks, out of curiosity, are there any swords they have in their current lineup that I don't have? That's a good question. I think at this... And actually, I do not have the upgraded versions of the Flying Phoenix, which, I mean, if I do want it, I'm probably just gonna go out and buy it. Because it looks, they changed the, like they added some fancier stuff to the scabbard and the pommel, but it's pretty much the same sword, so there's really no reason for me to grab it other than me wanting to see, just handle it for myself. But I think that's about the only one I don't have. Some of their, and also they also have these kind of like specialized fencing ones with the ones with that look almost like Western rapiers. I don't have those either. So, but most of the ones in the lineup I've at this point handled and reviewed. So let's see. Always cut torches. Saving up for the OK Chen Ming Dynasty Yen. It's a good one. It's a good one, and actually, well, I don't think it's too much for me to say. It's not too much of a spoiler for me to say that there's actually two versions of that sword. So depending on your price range, you can get, and depending on your price range and depending on what you want, you don't have to save up too much. It's like one version is above $300, the other one is a sub $300 one, and the other one, it's, from what I'm seeing of it, it's not anything lesser. It's just using a more plainer blade. And what I mean by plain is that there's a mono steel option and there's a folded steel option. And if you're planning on using the sword for hardcore, straight up test cutting, I would recommend going with the mono steel option. I go into that in the review, but generally speaking, when you talk to people, mono steel blades generally are more resilient than folded steel ones. Not to say that you can't do a lot of test cutting with the folded steel ones, but if you're someone who's working on your cutting, the mono steel one's going to be more forgiving. So, let's see. Yes, it is hard to pick. Logan Leong says it's very hard to pick, isn't it? Yes, it is. Oh, he's saying my voice is very quiet and hard to hear. It's probably because the mic is all the way over here. I need to replace this mic. This particular mic I thought was good. And lately I'm realizing that it's too limiting for what I need to do. And now that I've actually gotten my hands on a much better mic, this one's got to go. I think from now on, I'm probably just going to have this for when I'm like playing games against people and stuff like that. But from now on, this thing has just been causing me too many problems. And the sound quality from it is not that great unless I'm right here. So, give me some favorite parts of the Flying Phoenix. I'm still looking through the questions, guys. Sorry about that. And for a blade with such a light hilt, yes, it's an impressively back weight. How's the sharp? Well, I already showed you guys the sharpness at least a bit when I was cutting through the paper. It seems pretty sharp. I'm not going to run my arm on it that much. Let's just put it. Actually, there's another way I could test the edge. I just realized. I don't know why I didn't do it before. Just freaking put it against my thumb. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's some bite. That's some freaking bite. Okay. Yeah, shit. This thing might go through targets pretty well after all. I really need to get myself some freaking tatami mats, but again, I don't want to have to spend $140 freaking for it. I really need to get an LK10 blade. It's funny how quickly they're rising, right? This company, it's nuts. They're just turning out some really good stuff. Demo, you're right that I should get myself a lapel mic. In fact, I actually do have one. It's right here. It's just that I don't have the batteries for it. You guys can thank Skull for this. He had recently sent it over. But fairly recently, it was a while ago. But this thing apparently is also powered, and it uses those like really tiny batteries, like the ones that you usually see in hearing aids, and they died. So I haven't gone out yet to grab them. It's not like I can just go to the nearby gas station and like, hey, you want to give me those small ones? So. But if this did have the batteries, I would have already plugged it into my sound box over there, and then that would have solved the problem. Okay. So, yeah, that's the. I'm not too sure what else to do. I showed off the sword, and I mean, I'm not gonna take the camera out with me outside. It's dark. You're not gonna be able to see anything. And I've already answered the questions. So, I mean, I guess I'll just bring up some stuff. Yeah, like I said, the review, it's going to be out tomorrow. The people on Patreon they already get a chance to see it. Um, what else? Birthday's coming up this Sunday. I am still not too sure what my birthdays usually just come and go. You know, like it's very rare that I've ever really done anything or people have really done anything for it. So it's probably just going to be a chill day. I'm just, you know, I mean, if you guys want to do something, like if you guys want me to do something cool or you want to do something special for me for my birthday, then get freaking Tekken so we can have a freaking online tournament. All right, you want to make me happy on my birthday? Do that. Right. Oh man. But other than that, yeah, I'm not really not having any plans for that. Getting further in age, but that comes with the territory of life. What else? There's really not much else. I mean, obviously, I'm still churning out videos. Now I got another review to do. I got a couple others. One, the Star Wars choreography one. That one, I've almost finished with the outline for that, so that one will be coming. The one where I was half jokingly saying that I need to do one about how people don't seem to understand cyberpunk. That one's coming out real soon. I have another one that has been burning in my head for a very long time now, and I really need to get it out or it's going to cause a tumor or an aneurysm. And it's how people in this country have no freaking clue what far left really looks like. I'm really getting tired of people saying that. I don't mean to get political. I know people are like, oh shit. And the minute you start talking about this stuff, people, get up in arms, and I'm not trying to start anything now. I'm just simply saying hardly anybody in this country knows what far left looks like. And it's about time I showed people what it looks like. Before anybody asks me, many of the ideas that I will be pointing out to people, I don't necessarily believe. I'm just simply saying asking for universal health care is not far left. Most of the world is freaking doing it. Basically saying that college tuition should either be lowered or you should try maybe to make it, easier for students to get in, that's not far left. If you knew what far left looked like, you'd be running for the hills. What people like Sanders is asking for is tame compared to what's out there. You have no idea. So, but yeah, I have one on that. On a happier topic, I've seriously been wondering, even though it's going to be way, way, way off what I normally do on this channel, if I wanted to do stuff on how to get into certain games. And the only reason why I want to do that is I have a few friends of mine who, I'm always trying to get people to play Tekken or Street Fighter. I also play Payday 2. I can't wait for Cyberpunk 77. I'm telling you, there's a good chance once that game comes out, you won't find me. Like, the channel might suddenly go dark. I'm just giving you that warning. But, there's certain games I like playing with people that other people they think it's too difficult, or they find it hard to jump into. And believe it or not, I've actually made videos just for my friends to help them get into those games. And they're kind of rough shot, it's just me just talking to Mike saying, look, this is what you want to do. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to do that, you want to do this. And I was wondering if maybe I would want to throw that on my channel. Again, my channel, I know people think that my channel is purely a martial arts channel, and it's simply because that's where my focus is lately, but really my channel is about whatever the hell I feel like talking about. But even something like that, where I'm like, okay, here's how you get into this game, is not something that I was ever planning to do with my channel for the public at all. It's just something that I've done for friends of mine. But I've been wondering if maybe I might throw out something here or there. I mean, hell, I got so many videos that I've made that I've just simply thrown, they're unlisted, because it's just dumb things like me showing off a combo I did in Tekken, or like showing someone, okay, I finally beat this boss, this is how I did it. And it's just for friends of mine. So, yeah. Demo says, you've been playing Peter for 5 to 6 years. Demo has been pretty much been my wingman in this game. We've made it, we first picked it up, back in 2018? No. 2014. Because the game came out in 2013. We picked it up right during that winter sale, and it's just been nonstop ever since. And I don't know what it is about that game that just makes me I just keep coming back to it. I'll sit here on my computer, I need to play something. And whenever I'm I'm not too sure what I feel like playing, it's going to be Payday 2. I'll just jump right into it, play it for a couple of hours, whether solo or with some people. I do miss the days when I used to have a full crew. Straight up 4 people playing Payday is especially when you guys know what you're doing. It's awesome. You get up if you, especially a really difficult map. If you can plan it out just right, you plan a heist out just right. Everybody's doing their job the right way. Oh, it's gorgeous. You got somebody, you got a good sniper on your side who's keeping idiots at bay. You got somebody else running the bags. You got somebody playing interference, every now and then, getting people up. Oh man, it's awesome. I miss the days of having a full crew. But that's also one of those games that Payday 2 actually is one of those games that it's transformed. It's not the same game it used to be. Like it when it first started, the game was always difficult. It's always been rather difficult because in the very beginning, it was one of those games where if you just ran around like a lunatic, like you were playing Quake or something, you were instantly getting killed. You needed to know when to move, how to like move from cover, do blitzkrieg attacks and stuff like that when things went loud. Stealth, you really needed to know what the hell you were doing. However, I will say stealth is kind of broken in Payday 2. That's one of the things in the game that, in my personal opinion, does not work. Because they give you some basic tools, but because of the broken AI in the game and the fact that every now and then enemies they'll see you through walls, or you'll have like 4 or 5 people walking in the exact same direction and then suddenly get stuck in a spot that you need to run through and no one's moving. No, stealth, I know what they were trying to do. They wanted to make it unpredictable because originally the guys who made the game, they wanted it so that it was like, oh, things messed up, time for plan B. You literally hear Bane, your handler, on the radio when things mess up. Oh shit, it's up, time for plan B. And then you gotta like shoot your way out of it. They wanted it to be that way so that players like, oh damn it, and then get caught in craziness like a heist movie. The problem is, what most players will do at that point is, fuck it, restart, and then you, nobody, unless you're a masochist or me, you're not going to want to continue going through the plan once the bullets start flying, especially if your build is completely spec'd for stealth. Because if you completely spec yourself out for stealth, you're not making it out alive if the alarm gets tripped, especially the higher difficulty. So you're just going to say screw it and restart. And because you're just going to restart, that means that you're trying to heist it all the way through stealth. And because the game can be random and, the way the AI is set up, the way guards move around, and the fact that you can't really plan around their movement, it's a pain in the ass. Now, that being said, I actually like stealth, and I've gotten really good at it, but it's broken. Which is why I use a certain mod these days for it. I've earned the right to use the mod that I use for it at this point, and I got witnesses to prove it. I've already earned my stripes in stealth long before I used that mod. But Loud Payday is great. And that's where it really, that's where the game really changed. Because in the beginning, you had to be careful and use cover and playing your shootouts and how to move. And then Grinder came in, and that completely changed the game. And those who've played Payday 2 know exactly what I'm talking about. Once the Grinder perk deck came out. Those of you guys, by the way, playing Payday 2 have no freaking clue what the hell I'm talking about. I'd have to do a whole video into like the mechanics and stuff like that. But generally speaking, they put something in the game which made it so that you can gain life back by shooting people. Originally, the only way you were going to get life back from getting hurt, the only way you could recover from damage, was using first aid kits or doctor bags. That was it. And once those consumables ran out, that was it. So you had to be meticulous with, taking damage and knowing when to get hit and knowing when to heal. You really need to plan this out. This was a pretty difficult game if you had no plan, if you didn't have a game plan and you didn't know what the hell you were doing. Then Grinder showed up and suddenly, I just shoot somebody in the back of the head and I get a little bit of life back. So as long as you were doing damage, you were getting life back, and that changed the game. Because now we have builds where people are pretty much running around in open fire, blasting people in the freaking head. So then the game became, the damage and the difficulty of the game switched from being tactically difficult to just simply being a damage wave, where now there's like a million cops on the map constantly shooting at you and doing bigger and badder damage. You're running out there with bigger and badder guns. And I'm not saying that the game isn't fun, it still is, but it kind of skewed how the game was played. And anybody who's played this game for a long time, they know what I'm talking about. There's a very subtle shift into how we play these days. The meta has changed. I did not expect to be talking about Payday tonight. Weird. Weird. But It is one of the games I really like playing a lot. And then of course there's Tekken, which somehow I'm gonna end. I gotta drag some people to play this. My goal is to have at least 8 people to come together so we can have our little own online tournament, just our little own online top 8 and just play. Just God, I really want to. Ooh, I'm itching for that so bad. And it's not like I'm like a master at the game. I mean, I'm not going to tournaments. I'm not going to Evo. I'm intermediate at best, and even that I'm not too sure about. But you know, I don't mind. I mean, demo again. I've played the game. Played Tekken against him, and he'll tell you I don't seek. Like I'm not one of those guys that just wants to pound beginners into the ground. I'll tell them like, oh, you could have gotten me here, or if you're using this character, you want to concentrate on this, this, and this, and this. These are the best moves you want to use. Like I want people to get good so I can have some good matches. Don't be afraid to pick up a fighting game. They're not that hard to pick up. So, yeah, I want more people to play Tekken, or at least Street Fighter V. I've recently been messing around with that again. And Street Fighter V is easier to get into than Tekken, in my opinion. I mean, Tekken's not that hard to get into. It's harder to master. Like it's easy to just mash the buttons or at least learn some combos. The secret to getting good at Tekken is mastering movement and knowing your range. That's the thing. Knowing your range, mastering your movement, and knowing your punishes. If you're bad at that, then you're not gonna get good at Tekken. Street Fighter, on the other hand, is. I'm not saying it's not a crappy game, not by any means. I love Street Fighter, but it's an easier game to get into. Partially because it is a 2D game. And also partially because the mechanics of it are simpler to understand. And also the fact that Capcom put in that extra delay in moves, so it's so much easier to do combos now. But I don't want to get into that. It's still pretty good. Jesus, a lot of games I'd love to play with you guys. That freaking Lethal League. I keep bringing that one up because I miss my Lethal League blasts of games. That would be tons of fun if I can get a match going with that. Actually, I know one that I wouldn't mind doing with, even though it's not co-op, but I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Because Sekiro, I've been playing a hell of a lot of that lately because I needed to kind of catch up with it. I played it for a while, got to kind of a midpoint, and then because life got in the way and other things, I stopped. And then I recently dived back in, and now I'm pretty much at the end, I think. Like, I'm at the castle where it's burning now, and I'm having tons of fun with this freaking game. The last boss I took down was the freaking Owl Father. Damn, that was a match. I actually have that fight recorded. If you guys want to see it, it's unlisted. But if any of you guys care, I'll make it public or something, or I'll just simply put the link in the chat, and you guys can see that. That fight was Jesus Christ. But yeah, whatever. I'm just rambling now, and again, the main thing was to show this off, and I already have. So at this point, I'm thinking I might cut it off here. But if you guys have any last-minute questions that you want, now is the time to ask, whether it's martial arts games, whatever. Now's the time to ask before I cut this off. Okay, so we got something from Joel Wiggins saying, what do I think about Black Myth, the Wukong game? Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That game looks like it's really good. And I find it rather significant that it's coming out of China. I know China has been really trying to get into the gaming scene because they got a huge gaming scene over there, but it's sort of behind the curtain, you know, and also a language barrier. So you see flashes of Chinese gaming going on here and there, but it hasn't really crossed over. So, and to be honest, a lot of those games, the technical polish on a lot of them was a little behind the rest of the world. But that being said, this game looks like whoever's putting it together, they've done their homework. Like I was blown away just, you know, by the presentation, the graphical detail, the art direction, definitely the gameplay. You know, I saw bits of, there's a lot of From Software influence in this game, obviously, when it comes to the gameplay and the combat. And I'm super interested in it, not just because it's a take on a Chinese tale that I really like, but I don't get to see many games with Chinese martial arts in it done well. You know, every now and then we get them, but for the most part, you see action games, it's Japanese stuff or it's European stuff, and that's it. And I've always wanted to see at least a good, you know, take on some Chinese stuff, like, you know, some stuff, like, even if it's just flashy movie type stuff, I want to see a game do that, and it looks like this game is the one that's going to do it. Like, I was impressed with what I saw so far, so I'm hoping they pull it off, and who knows, maybe we'll be lucky enough to play it. We'll see. But I'm impressed with it. Scott McGregor's asking, would I be interested in playing Cyberpunk 2020 or Red over Discord? Maybe. I would need the time. The reason, I mean, if I had the time, I'd be like, hell yeah. I just don't have that much time to do a lot of things that I want to do. I mean, hell, I'm right now chilling with a group of people who have their own RPG games going, and I don't really have the time all the time just to jump into their stuff. Just last night, I was happy just to get into a freaking Magic the Gathering match. It's rare that I get time for that. So, but I'll say maybe. I mean, it's not that I'm not, I'm like, F that. It's more like, if I can find the time to get in and do it, yeah, I definitely would. Especially since it is freaking Cyberpunk, because I used to love playing Cyberpunk way, way back, and it would be really cool to kind of do something like that again. So we will see. All right, so it doesn't look like there are that many questions, but then again, I am doing this at night on a Monday. Nobody in their right mind is usually up on a Monday at this time for a live stream. Usually people want to see live streams on like Fridays or Saturdays or something. I always pick the odd times, but I don't pick the times when these things show up at my door. It showed up, and I'm like, well, I didn't do it last time.
I'm starting to catch back up. It's starting to
It's funny, just simply holding this and not using it yet, it's just making me really want to use it, which already is a good sign that I'm really liking this sword. It is, one thing I did not really get to say is that this sword is very regal.
actually does fall off.
Like, this looks like something some type of nobleman or prince or something would carry around, and every now pull out to use for righteous justice. It's not exactly. It's funny, when I was looking at it, I thought when I was going to pull this out the box, because this is different than what I thought it would be. Like, I thought this was going to be like, a blade kind of wide, similar, like maybe similar in width to the White Arc, or maybe even the Flying Phoenix, but longer and with this kind of, 8-sided blade design. And I thought I was going to pull it out, and then, just be doing one of those wide-eyed things, like, fire comes from the sky, and the gods from the sky. But Crom is your god. Crom, and he lives in the earth.
Oh my
Giants
God.
lived in the days, Crom. I thought I was going to be doing that, but it's kind of hard to do that with this sword, This one is just a little too elegant for that. I can't really go into, the whole riddle of steel speech with this. I guess I could, but it doesn't feel right. This is more about striking down the unworthy or something. I don't know. Okay, playing Rage 2 on Stadia. You're on Stadia? Okay, somebody likes it. Thoughts on Jet Li's old... Ooh! Good pick, Wing Zero. Wing Zero 83 asked me thoughts on Jet Li's old PS2 game. I used to play the hell out of that game. I did love that game. I'm actually really surprised that other people haven't really picked up on that gaming system. Like, the combat system in the game, using the joysticks to do the moves, I thought was really innovative for the time. And no one's come up with an iteration of it. I don't know, maybe it's like they were a little bit too worried that they would be like, it's obvious they're copying off of Jet Li's game. It was a Rise to Honor. And yeah, he did do the motion capture for it. Some of the motion capture he didn't do, but most of the motion capture he did. Some of those ones actually came from the Zero Gravity guys. And if you don't know who Zero Gravity is, you haven't been on the internet as long as I have. But yeah, for the most part, he did motion capture most of the moves. And I just love the smoothness of like the animations, how everything just came out. The fact that you could attack in any direction easily with just a flick of the joystick. And it mostly worked. There were a few little snafus here and there, but for the most part, it worked. And I thought that, man, this would be a great game. Like, I would love to see a sequel to this or to do another game with this sort of combat system. And they never did. It's a damn shame. And it was one of the rare games that had some Kung Fu in it that it was awesome. Like, oh my God, Kung Fu, I get it. So, yeah, I did love that game. Let's see. Magic the Gathering. William Green is asking what colors do I play. These days I mostly play red and green. I started out playing white and blue. and I still have a fondness for white and blue, and I still do play it. But I noticed that I gravitate more toward red and green because I'm a fairly aggressive player, and when I play Magic the Gathering, I pretty much just want to overwhelm you. Either I'm going to just burn the living crap out of you. Like the two main decks I use is a straight up red burn deck and a red and green deck that I put together, which is it's designed to harass you in the beginning and then completely annihilate you at the end. So I find that green and red mixed together really help with that. Like the red in the beginning, you get a lot of quick cards, you send a lot of harassment creatures, and then green helps you to slowly build up your defenses and set your creatures up and all that type of stuff. And then if they have not wiped you off by mid game, then I have all my minions out there, and then they all got trample damage, and they're all just gonna run right over you. And then by then, I got all my huge red spells, and the fireballs and the lava bursts are coming out. So yeah, it's just complete annihilation at that point. And I like that. It kind of appeals to the sort of aggressive nature I have at times. But I also do like white and blue because white and blue can be extremely annoying, and it's fun to like, I do no. But I'm gonna no. But I don't think so. By the way, half your deck is gone. Like it's just really frustrating. People can really funny with white and blue. But yeah, those are the colors. I do not play black, and it's not because I'm afraid of evil. It's just more that don't get me wrong, but I have a grudge against black from the days, like ever since I first started playing Magic the Gathering back in '93. I just have a grudge because it's like all the people out there instantly went for black and they were making solid black decks and instantly killing you with all these cheap shots and skeletons and stuff. And so I have, all the way up to this day, I have a grudge against black. And I've literally made decks specifically designed to completely screw over anyone using that color. And I know how good that particular color is. I know how good that system is. It's just the early days. It just put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna send these 5 vampires. Now I get this much life. You're dead. So, yeah. All right. A remastered version of For Honor would be awesome. I agree. I'm kind of flashing all over the place. No, that's about it. There doesn't seem to be any other questions, so I think I'm going to end it off here. Again, review for the other sword, the two swords, the Dragon Sparrow and the Gale Wind. It will be out tomorrow. If you are on Patreon, you already have a chance to see it. It's already up. Long story short, do I like those swords? Yes. They are unique in their own way. There's certain things about it that I do need to bring up, and there's certain historical factors that I bring up that I think some of you guys might find interesting. For the most part, I do like the swords. So if you got time, you can KM some P-Day too. Yeah, I got time, dude. I will give me a few minutes, and we might be able to get something going. So I'm going to get myself something to drink because my throat is dry. Thank you for coming to my humble little live stream. I know it was kind of impromptu and last minute, but again, this thing just showed up at my door, and I felt that I kind of owed you guys a live stream since I didn't do it the last time, and that time was with the sword that you guys all wanted to see. So, yeah. Can't wait to test this one out. Till then, you guys have a good night. Catch you guys later.